everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my end of year roundup videos. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 EPs of 2024. I've never actually done EPs in my end of year roundup videos. I usually just do songs and albums, but there have been so many incredible ones that this year I really wanted to include it. And there's a mixture of genres in here like there is in pretty much all of my videos. So let me know what you think, and also let me know what EPs you guys have been loving in the comments as well. So in 10th place, we have an EP that was surprise dropped in November, and it is Heaven Let Them Die by Counterparts. For you, I prayed, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this one actually. It's definitely less melodic and more crushing than a lot of their previous work. I was a big fan of their last full-length album, but this is definitely more heavy, it's more aggressive, it's extremely angry and kind of makes me want to like go outside and like kick a wall. But as well as being like super heavy and angry, it is actually very focused and coherent. It has a lot of personality to it and it absolutely knows what it wants to say, which I think is a good thing with EPs especially. My personal favourite song is probably going to be No Lamb Is Lost. I love the kind of like Code Orange inspired industrial section in the middle, and even though it's a very short song, it's very punchy and it's very, very impactful. And that's kind of what you want with an EP, because there isn't as much time to say what it is that you want to say. So yeah, loving that one. And in 9th place is the EP Last Run by The Pineapple Thief. It will all be over. The Pineapple Thief for me are one of those bands that I rarely listen to, but every time I do make the effort to listen to, I really like them. I think it's their like extensive catalogue that intimidates me a little bit, because every time I listen to them, I really enjoy them, and I thought I'm going to give this EP a go, and I really loved it. It's definitely a good mixture of their kind of classic like 70s inspired prog rock sound mixed with like Radiohead, like alt rock, indie kind of vibes. And there are some really gorgeous moments on this thing. I've maybe mentioned this a few times on here, but Gavin Harrison is my all-time favourite drummer. I love him so much, and he really shines on this EP. His effortless playing just like drives the whole thing forward, especially on the song Election Day, which is probably my favourite song on this thing. It's quite an emotional listen actually, and the soundscapes that are created just really like make you just get lost in the music. In 8th place, we have A Leap Into the Dark by Enforced. This is such a great EP. It has 6 tracks, 4 of them are original songs and 2 are covers. I don't usually love when EPs include covers, but this is just great. And if you haven't heard of Enforced before, they're like a kind of crossover thrash, but they blend some like hardcore punk elements into their sound. And I think that is the thing that I really love about them. This EP is 19 minutes of absolute like mayhem. It does not let up at all. The momentum they managed to keep up on this thing is crazy. The drummer plays with such urgency. It kind of feels like he's like rushing his way through the songs, but in a good way. And then the rest of the band are like just fighting to keep up with him. The 2 covers are interesting as well. They cover Deadly Intentions by Obituary and The Chase Is On by English Dogs. And I think that really kind of showcases the 2 sides of Enforced sound. I'm sure that was probably intentional, but I would say that my favourite out of the 2 covers is the Obituary cover. So yeah, another fantastic release from Enforced. In 7th place is an EP that I really did not expect to like as much as I do. Grindcore is a subgenre of metal that has always kind of passed me by, I suppose. I've never been overstruck on it, but I cannot stop listening to the EP Hostility by the band Clot. So Clot actually released 2 EPs this year. One was called Dehiscence and one was Hostility. Dehiscence was more sludgy and featured kind of longer songs, but Hostility is just like classic grindcore, really short, punchy, loud, fast songs. I actually really like both though. I'd say they're both worth listening to be fair. Hostility is super short. It's actually only 5 minutes long and it has 6 songs on it. It basically is just like one 5-minute long song though. It's kind of hard to discern the difference between each song, but even in just 5 minutes there's ebbs, there's flows. It's like a journey. It's heavy, it's energetic, the vocals feel so aggressive, and it just slaps. Like definitely one of my favorite random discoveries I've made this year. So in 6th place is an EP with a completely opposite vibe. I think this is probably the longest on this list at 36 minutes long. And it is Twice Around the Sun by the band Ugly. I will lay the wreath around you. This EP really blew me away when I first heard it. I've been listening to it non-stop. The opening track, The Wheel, is absolutely mesmerizing. And there's quite a few genres listed for this EP. So it's kind of like indie rock, progressive rock, alt rock, folk, and it honestly really genuinely does manage to incorporate all of those sounds. Every song is super different, but they all have this very like unmistakable sound to them. It's clear that this band have a lot of ideas and they wanted to showcase them all, and they've done it really well. There are some really solemn and thought-provoking lyrics as well, especially the song Hands of Man. That one really kind of made me feel emotional actually and really struck a chord. But then the opening track, The Wheel, has kind of nonsensical lyrics and is kind of a callback to some 70s progressive rock, especially with its like intense vocal harmonies. Every song feels like so purposeful and realised, like it really kind of knows what it wants to do. It's honestly just an incredible project and I really think a lot of you guys would love it as well. Next up is Year of the Pest by Pest Control. This is the first of 2 female-fronted hardcore EPs that are on this list, and it is just so good that I'm not even sorry for that. Pest Control just do exactly what you want this type of music to do. They give you some incredible thrashy riffs and some really kind of interesting and unique hardcore inspired breakdowns. It's danceable, it's fun, there are some serious moments on it as well. Like, it's just so good. And this EP is 4 songs and it's 10 minutes long, but every moment is great. The production is nice and crispy, the songwriting is strong, and it's full of really cool tempo changes as well. It kind of keeps you on your toes. It feels fresh and interesting, and their vocalist Leah has to be one of my favorites in the scene right now. She's so raspy but absolutely brutal at the same time. The whole band are really talented actually. They work really well together. And I just can't wait to see what they do next, because I think they're gonna smash it. In 4th place, we have Tillie Verse by Tillie. If you had to guess, the only reason why I haven't killed you yet, and now I sleep at night knowing that you're still alive while I'm on the dance floor. I literally only discovered Tillie at the start of October. I was seeing Delilah Bond live at the start of October, and Tillie was the support act for her, and I like immediately fell in love with her live performance, and then I went and checked out this EP when I got home and I fell in love with it as well. Each song really stands out as its own kind of gem, even though there is like a general theme that's running through the EP. It has so much personality again, like it's very kind of, it couldn't really be anybody else but Tillie. The songs are definitely very personal and talk about quite specific situations in Tillie's life, a lot of which she did explain to us the situations before she performed them live, but she uses these characters to like present the lyrics, which kind of makes them like relatable to everybody. She also uses really interesting soundscapes and sound effects, which I think is again cool and interesting. The songs are super infectious, and it's kind of that thing where a lot of them are about really serious subject matter, but they're super like upbeat and danceable. So my next choice is going to be Persona by Gel. This is the second female-fronted hardcore EP on this list. I've really gotten into Gel after this release. It's a super short one. I think it's only about 13-14 minutes long, but I've had it on repeat non-stop. And then Gel got announced for 2000 Trees lineup next year, so I'm going to see them live, which is very exciting. Now this EP, again, it's unrelenting, it's ferocious, like I'm running out of adjectives. It's like an explosion of anger and venom. And then before you know it, it's over. I personally really love angry songs, especially performed by women, and especially ones that are very like spiteful and vindictive. This completely just scratches that itch for me. The way Sammy delivers the vocals in such like a gnarly way is probably the best thing on the whole EP. And I also love how they incorporate gang vocals, especially during the song Shame. It just goes so hard. So in 2nd place is a band who every time they release something absolutely blow me away. I adore this band. The album they released last year was on my top 10 albums list from last year. They're so consistent, and the EP is The Path by Sylosis. They just actually surprise dropped this again on a random Wednesday and I squealed when I saw it. The opening track is the title track, The Path, and it features Debbie from Harriet on vocals. And Debbie literally kills everything she does. She's incredible. My favourite track is probably the song Soured Ground. It's so groovy, the guitar solos are incredible, and Josh's vocals, I think he probably has like one of my favourite vocal styles in heavy music. He's so good and people do not talk about him enough. Disavowed is another really good song. The guitar riffs are really chuggy, very intense, and we get some of Josh's clean vocals to kind of juxtapose with that, which I think is nice. There's also a breakdown which has me like... and it just ends the EP in such an epic way. And finally, my number one, my all-time favourite EP that was released this year. This was a super easy choice for me. It is 6 Desperate Ballads by The Garden. I'll never be a man, I'll never be wrong. I'll never be a man, I'll never be wrong. I have been utterly obsessed with The Garden this year. They're probably my favourite discovery of the year. I've been making my way through their very, very extensive discography and just falling more and more in love with them at everything they do. If you don't know them, The Garden don't really have a set genre, like they experiment with every genre really. They have loads of different sounds, but at their core is like a punk ethos and a punk sound. This EP has 6 tracks. They're all fairly different, and I honestly think this might be one of the best things they've ever done. The opening track, Filthy Rabbit Hole, is probably my favourite. It's insanely punky and catchy, and I saw them perform it live back in June and it was absolute carnage. Man of the People is probably one of my other favourites. I just can't get enough of the contrast of the soft, like melodic guitars mixed with the harsh, shouty vocals. It's incredible, and this whole EP is just like magical to me. So there are my top 10 EPs of 2024. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all the lovely comments on my last video, my top 10 songs. I hope you're having a good festive season so far, and I will see you next time.